This is a WWN Publishing Group recording. Copyright 2017, all rights reserved. This is an abridged version of Night Takes Pawn, Book 1 of the Red Knight series by Martha Sweeney, to make the story appropriate for all listeners on YouTube. Read to you by the author. If you want to read the complete story, you can find the ebook or paperback online. Links are provided below in the description. Chapter 8, Night. I knew what I was doing when I chose Red as my woman. Aside from being one of the more beautiful choices, I knew none of the other guys would choose her. They know how Jagger feels about Red. He discusses her killing conquests openly on a daily basis. At first, I didn't know who he was talking about when he called someone his Little Red. Then, when I found out her name and she wrote it on my hand, I couldn't believe that Red was in fact Red. She has a fire in her eyes that would support Jagger's claims, but she didn't seem to be as bloodthirsty as he described. Jagger's pride in his Little Red makes all the men lust after her, but none would dare see what would happen if they chose her. They fear that Jagger would either let Red kill them or he'd kill them himself. I knew that Jagger would let Red decide for herself after knowing she handled that sick Dak the other night. Red's the only woman here with a fire burning inside her. Plus, I think she has a little soft spot for me since she finally stopped trying to kill me the night we spent together. Between the stories and what I saw from the night of Red killing Mr. Hedge, I knew Red would be an asset. She knows how to kill, and I need to know the extent of her skills. Also, she isn't freaked out by the sight of blood. On top of that, like I said, she's gorgeous, and I don't want there to be a chance for any of the other guys, especially Breaker, to get their grubby hands on her. I know that sick Dak beat her, and I'm still trying to find out why and how he's been able to hide it. Before I left the party with Red, Jagger told me that if I stay the night with her and I don't die, and neither does she, that I'll have earned more of his respect, and so will Red. I'm not quite sure of all the different ways to earn Jagger's respect yet, but I'll take it if it'll eventually get me a higher ranking than Breaker. I was in the process of escorting Red to my room when the guards told me that we needed to be in her room for the night. I didn't argue with them, knowing that Jagger was probably hoping to minimize the chances of Red trying to escape. When we got up to her room, I offered to unzip her dress, but she wouldn't let me get close. I watched Red as she got ready for bed while I undressed. I took everything off except for my underwear and lay down on the bed, waiting for her to join me. In a heated frenzy, Red grabbed a pillow and took the chair at the end of the bed. "You can have the bed," I offered. She didn't move. "Come on, darling," I chuckled. "You know I don't bite. Not like Breaker." Her head darted up and she hurled the pillow at me. "So, he is the one who did that to you, huh?" I asked, hoping she'd confirm it. Her eyes gave her thoughts away before she turned her face. "Don't let him break you so easily, darling," I insisted. Her head snapped back to me. The fire returned to her eyes and she threw one of my shoes at me. "That's it," I teased. "There's your spark." Red chucked the other shoe in my direction, forcing me to lift my hand up to block it from hitting my face. Suddenly, she straddled me and was trying to get my gun. We wrestled and I got her pinned easily. "I'm your only friend here, Red," I commented. "It wouldn't be good to piss me off." She bucked her body. "You can have the bed and I'll take the chair again," I offered, "as long as you promise to be nice." Red spat in my face. "Remember what I told you last time?" I warned. "You get me going and I will dack the shit out of you until you can't fight anymore. Is that what you really want?" She stopped moving. Anger blazed in her eyes, but not a single bit of fear. "That's what I thought," I said with amusement in my voice. It didn't take as long for her to crawl under the covers after that. My watch is telling me that it's now almost 8 in the morning. Red's fast asleep on the bed and my neck is sore from sleeping on the chair. At least she was smart last night, going to bed rather than trying to sneak up on me again. I question if I should leave the room or not, knowing that this time I have a key that works from the inside. Jagger discreetly gave it to me last night. I wonder if he was offering me an out from possibly dying because he knows what Red is capable of doing. I was confident taking her, knowing I survived the first night and knowing that the other guys don't dare go near Red. I do wonder what Jagger would have done if he found out about what Breaker did to Red. I'm sure he'd be pissed. I hear a little bit of commotion going on just beyond the door, and I move stealthily to find out who's there and what they want. Their voices are too low to hear what they're saying, but I'm fairly confident that one of them is Breaker. Realizing that they'll want to find out what happened between Red and me, I dart back toward the bed. "Red," I call quietly. "Red, wake up." She groans. "Red," I repeat. Her hand flies toward my face, but I block it. "There's someone outside," I tell her. "Stay quiet while I try to find out what's going on." I shift to go back to the door, but stop when she tugs on my arm. Red's rather oddly insistent on me joining her in the bed. "It's okay, Red," I soothe. She pulls harder as she moves over. What's going on, darling? I asked, confused by her sudden behavior. Do you get off by being caught or something? The look in her eyes changes from disgust back to panic. Okay, I soothe, figuring out there's got to be a good reason for all of this. I'll get in. She yanks off her top and then her bottoms. What the dack are you doing? I check, confused by her actions, unable to take my eyes off of her plump breasts. The sound of the lock being opened catches our attention. Red's head snaps to the door and then back to me. Her hands grab the edge of my underwear and she tries to pull them off. What? I say. She gives me a pleading look. Okay, I return, rushing to get them off. The second lock clicks. I'm not even under the blankets and she's already pressed against my body. Her arms snake around my neck and my morning wood twitches at the warmth of her bare breasts against me. Her legs wrap around my thighs and I suck in a deep breath, steadying myself. The door swings open and I watch Breaker and 2 other guys come in. What the dack? I say through gritted teeth. They stare dumbfoundedly at Red and me for a few seconds. Can't you see I'm dacking busy? I retort. The boss wanted us to check in on you this morning, Breaker says. I don't believe him by the tone of his voice. I'm certain he was hoping to find me dead today, and by the look in his eyes, he's not happy with his discovery. What did he want? I inspect. To make sure you're still alive, Breaker lies. I let out a loud huff and look at Red for a second. Don't go anywhere, I tell Red. We're going to finish this in just a second. I grab the sheet and cover her as I shift to stand, careful to block them from noticing that I was never really inside her. Red drags the sheet up to her breasts and I move toward the men. Is there a problem? I ask heatedly. No problem, Breaker claims. Funny, I chuckle. Seems like there is if you're still here. Were you hoping for me to invite you to join us? Breaker's head snaps back. No, he says dryly. Good, I say. Do you mind? I have some business to attend to. The 3 of them exit the room without another word. You okay? I ask, turning to Red. I follow her gaze. Like what you see? Red's cheeks flush as she glances away. This is the end of this chapter. Thank you for listening. I hope you're enjoying the story so far. To read the full, unabridged version, you can find a link in the description below. To find out about new releases before the general public, be sure to subscribe to my newsletter. Also, to be notified when the next chapter is published, make sure you subscribe to my channel.